It's time for the next 1,000 unicorns to step into the spotlight. It's time for a new generation to pioneer groundbreaking climate innovations, fight against the destruction of our planet, and take the lead in building a more sustainable future for us all. Reshaping the future is no small task, but the passionate inventors, entrepreneurs, and innovators behind UNICEF's Innovation 30 Young Climate Innovators Shaping the Future initiative are not afraid to take on challenges and to forge their own paths to success.
I've been told you should look at this as a lifestyle business and it's not something you should scale. This was 7 years ago. Now the same person is an investor in the business.
Para mí, los principales retos que afrontan o que afrontamos los innovadores jóvenes están relacionados con el tratar de lograr el cambio de mentalidad y esa adaptación, esa apertura mental en generaciones anteriores, en que la voz sea escuchada y en que esas ideas que pueden sonar muy locas.
I think one of the biggest challenges is a lack of funding and a lack of recognition for the important work that youth are doing and the steps that they're willing to take to develop radical solutions to big problems.
Sometimes you don't have someone that is going to give you the funds and the patience to wait for your innovation to be profitable.
You see, I can relate to that initial struggle. When we started Ethic in 2015, we invested our own capital. We faced many rejections and had to work hard to keep the company going before we were able to raise external financing. I'm confident that the next 1,000 unicorns are out there, but they need the support of accelerators and investors to take their innovations to the next level. Of course, funders also need to be confident that they will receive a return on investment. This is one of the reasons UNICEF worked with scientists from Imperial College London and the University of Cambridge to evaluate the impact, profitability, and sustainability of the solutions presented by the Innovation 30 cohort. While they're all at different stages of development, these innovations have the potential to make a huge impact on our future by tackling some of the biggest challenges the world is facing right now. One of those challenges is food waste. Around a third of all the food that the world produces each year is wasted. Some of the Innovation 30 cohort have developed unique ways to minimize this waste and repurpose it for good.
Stages minimizes the health hazards in children that are caused by synthetic dyes by creating natural, biodegradable, non-harmful, non-toxic dyes with limited wastewater effluent. This is beneficial because the chemicals won't get into the children's bodies, and also we can make sure we are clearing any wastewater effluent from rivers and streams so that the children that live around these areas and rely on this water, it's not polluted and it's not harmful to them. If you are a small, more luxury manufacturer, you can be paying up to £80 per kilogram. But what we're hoping with is we've really designed the process for scale. So we're aiming that with economies of scale, we can get the lower price points that the fast fashion brands will want. So around maybe the sort of the $8 mark, something like that.
The actual market size of the textile dye industry is about 9 billion globally, and then also 2 billion within Europe.
So at Hyde, we're creating a beautiful, high-quality leather alternative made from waste-derived collagen. As collagen is an abundant and a robust protein that forms our natural skin and real leather, our product has an aesthetics and performance similar to real leather. We work with leading brands in multiple industries, including fashion, to design and commercialize our innovation. So right now, we're focusing on R&D and manufacturing capabilities to further commercialize and scale up our product. We don't generate a lot of harsh chemicals. Like I said, there's no effluent waste coming from the factory, and therefore the local rivers and the biome won't be negatively affected by the manufacturing of the material, and therefore providing a healthier environment for our children. Investment is absolutely critical for our innovation because we're in a manufacturing business, and then we need to prove that we can manufacture our material at scale. So that requires equipment, requires capital, requires people to do the actual work. So of course, venture capital or any grant funding body, they need to support young innovators at the early stage in order for us to gather evidences and the data points to support our innovation.
So our innovation is called Equalix-1. It basically utilizes targeted microorganisms and specialized mechanical design to automatically separate food waste from any other waste, turning them into raw material for energy production within hours on site. Hearing about landfill is one thing. Looking at your domestic waste is one thing. But seeing piles and piles and mountains of waste in a landfill, that's very significant, at least to me. It's out of the development phase, it's deployed, and we're installing it in multiple places right now. So we built a company without any fundraising. We aim to build a solid foundation, to build real growth, solid growth, build the company, sell more, hire more people, sell more, hire more people, snowball. But that being said, we're also fundraising. So we currently work with the University of Cambridge Enterprise, the investment arm of the university, to kickstart our first fundraise.
Innovation et à la fois, notre technologie nous a permis de séquestrer le carbone à travers la valorisation des déchets et de réduire le taux de méthane qui est émis dans l'environnement. Et tout cela, c'est grâce à des insectes qu'on utilise, qu'on appelle les mouches soldates noires, que nous prenons pour décomposer les déchets organiques seulement en 12 jours. Donc notre engrais permet de restaurer les terres, de retenir de l'eau dans les sols et de lutter également contre les maladies du sol. On ne serait pas ici en train de parler, donc c'est ce qui nous a beaucoup plus motivés pour assurer la sécurité alimentaire des prochaines décennies. Alimentaire, c'est pour rendre l'aliment disponible pour tout le monde. Parce que s'il n'y a pas des engrais, il n'y a pas de production agricole. S'il n'y a pas de production agricole, ça veut dire qu'il y aura la famine. S'il y a la famine, ça veut dire que nous tous, que ce soit adultes ou bien jeunes ou bien enfants, on ne pourra pas survivre. On est actuellement à plus de 5000 clients qui utilisent déjà nos produits. Donc, on est actuellement représenté au Bénin, au Tchad et en Côte d'Ivoire. Également, nous avons réduit le coût de production des agriculteurs de moins de 20%. Et on a augmenté à travers nos produits le rendement agricole des agriculteurs de 20% également. Nous investissons au moins 40% de notre coût de production dans l'achat des matières premières locales et 10% dans l'achat des matières premières régionales. Actuellement, on est en train de s'apprêter pour chercher de financement pour pouvoir mettre en place tout ce qu'on est en train d'envisager faire. Parce qu'on envisage faire une production de 1000 tonnes d'engrais par an pour mettre à disposition des agriculteurs.
Another global challenge contributing towards climate change is the problem of plastic waste. The world produces around 430 million tons of plastic every year, the majority of which can only be used once before it gets tossed away. As a result, tons of garbage is dumped into our oceans, rivers, and lakes every single day.
So the innovation is to build a franchise network of decentralized plastic recycling systems in emerging countries and specifically remote areas. We want to make it accessible for these communities to handle their plastic waste. We want to make it work economically, but also socially and environmentally. We have, as of today, roughly 10 million tons of plastic reaching the ocean every year. Just for countries like Indonesia, where it's highly fragmented, we estimated that we can deploy more than 1,000 microfactories in terms of the potential market. So at the world level, you can estimate 10,000s of these machines with like local branches. If we set the bar high, this represent 20% in terms of like the solution for these 10 million.
Usando la biodiversidad que tenemos en la naturaleza, específicamente los hongos, para obtener ingredientes, materia prima que usan industrias o que usan productos que usamos en el día a día, como cosméticos, productos de aseo, del hogar, aseo personal, e inclusive alimentos. Entonces es simplemente una forma de producir esas materias primas de una manera menos contaminante para que tengamos menos efectos en nuestra salud y en el medio ambiente.
PadCare X is the world's first technology that can recycle the sanitary napkins and recover the pulp and the plastic out of it like this. When 121 million women are using a disposable pads, this is generating more than 12 billion sanitary napkins alone in India annually. And unfortunately, 98% of this waste is ending up in the landfill and water bodies. Another major issue, specifically in India, there are millions of waste pickers are literally by using bare hands, they are segregating the sanitary napkins on the diapers. Because biohazardous nature of this kind of waste, it is impacting on their health. Our aim is to have a huge impact on lakhs of waste pickers, billions of women across the age and our mother. Financing for all climate-led or climate-first kind of initiative. Generally, they are kind of hardware, right? It's tough to identify the patient capital. Luckily, in that context, in Indian government, we have received almost $500,000 from the government to take the risk, to innovate, to break, to pilot, to ideate. So grants are playing a very important role. So on the finance front, yes, there are still a couple of gaps. We have to look for the asset financing options. We have to include HNIs, high net individuals, to become a part of the system because they are looking for the impact.
Now, I love this out-of-the-box thinking. It's inspiring to see how these innovators have recognized challenges in their own communities and created solutions that can be adapted and scaled up globally. They're also finding ways to create more food security through sustainable agriculture and bringing clean air and water to children and communities around the world.
Our innovation is a seaweed supplement for ruminant livestock, which includes beef cows, dairy cows, sheep, and goats. And when you include this seaweed into their feed, it reduces their methane emissions, which is the major source of greenhouse gases from these livestock, by over 80%. Sea graze not only benefits children through reducing the environmental impact, but it also offers innovation and sustainability. You have early stage funding to help you prove out your idea and get to a certain point. And then you kind of have that period in between where you have a product and you need to scale it, but it might not be like completely the risk profile for a typical bank or financer. And so that's where we are right now. I'm really trying to get creative about different government programs or incentives that exist to help get products from, early commercial to profitability. And so I think it's a really exciting place to be here, but there's also a lot of basically risk that the company has to take on as well, and some of these more traditional financing opportunities for scaling.
We are the world's first fabric offset solution. It is important to us that all of the resources that are invested through our fabric offsets are then funneled directly to these people who are living with the burdens of textile waste in their environment. All of our projects that we work with are majority women-owned. They meet high standards for additionality, co-benefits, and permanence. For fashion brands, the cost to offset a t-shirt varies depending on the project that you decide to fund. It can vary between 3 cents or 9 cents per t-shirt USD. What we've seen with the brands that have worked with us is that they actually see a return on investment of about 10 times. So by having a fabric neutral certification, you pay 3 cents for your t-shirt to be offset, but then you can actually move your product up market by about $1 to $2. We received funding from angel investors. We were seeking VC funding at the beginning of this year, but then stopped our processes because we found that we were able to bootstrap with the angel funding that we had received. Going forward, we're hoping to receive a bit more funding so we can scale to our full potential and full capacity.
Access to clean water can be the determining factor for whether somebody has access to enough education, whether somebody has access to positive chronic health conditions, or whether somebody has access to economic mobility and improved job opportunities in their communities. It's often the communities that lack clean water that lack many of these other foundational resources that can enable people to achieve their full potential in life. Ciclo is the first compact, low-cost system that can treat wastewater to drinking water. There is no other system on the market right now that's designed to retrofit into your home at a price of less than $500 per unit and capture your wastewater and treat it to drinking water for immediate reconsumption. When scaled across 1 million users in the next 10 years, we can save over 1 trillion gallons of water, and we can create access to clean drinking water.
Just in the UK alone, almost 1/3 of the households are living in energy poverty conditions. So that's where their energy bills are taking up such a high proportion of their income that often it's a choice between buying food or heating their homes, which is very sad. And it also disproportionately impacts children and vulnerable people. So in a way, we realized that we needed to find a way of balancing these two conflicting issues of energy efficient homes, but also adequate ventilation, and that's exactly what we are doing with AirX. We were fortunate enough to secure a lot of R&D grant funding throughout the years. It was a rigorous process, but I think more importantly, raising equity funding, so raising private funding was even harder. There are recent statistics came out that shown that just in the UK, less than 1% of the whole venture capital goes into all female-funded companies. I'm fortunate enough to be within that 1%, but it's devastating for the industry. It's so much missed potential. So for younger founders, it's harder to raise funds, but especially younger female founders, it's extremely hard to raise funds.
Agnes raises a good point about the importance of investing in female founders. Research shows that women-led companies are more capital efficient and bring in higher returns and revenues in less time. Evidence of this is seen in the Innovation 30 cohort, where female founders make up nearly half of the 24 climate solutions. The Innovation 30 cohort are committed to building profitable, climate-positive solutions that are going to reshape the world as we know it. They have the skills, passion, and determination to join the next 1,000 unicorns. They're ready to act, but they need support and investment. So what are we waiting for? For more information on Innovation 30, Young Climate Innovators Shaping the Future finalists, visit UNICEF's website or scan the QR code.